Turn to Mark chapter 5. You know, every one of us has someone that has influenced our lives in some way as we've grown up, somebody that we've put our faith in, someone we've looked up to, someone that we've idolized, someone that we've molded our life after. For me, it was my older cousin. I didn't have an older brother. I didn't have a big brother. You know, I see everybody with big brothers. And I was always jealous. But for me, it was that older cousin, Roy, that I had. Everything that Roy did, I wanted to do. If Roy, it didn't matter if it was a good thing or a bad thing. If Roy did it, I wanted to do it. And he was that influence in my life, both good influences and bad influences. Everything that influenced my life in the early ages, from the kind of music I listened to the things I did as a teenager, to all of that, the majority of it I can trace back to my cousin Roy and his influence in my life. Even some things still today I can trace back to him. But he was a big influence in my life in the direction that I was going in my life. That was until, as a teenager, I met Jesus. You see, Jesus has a way of changing the direction that you're going in life. Jesus has a way of being an influence in your life that trumps all other influences in your life. Jesus has a way of making a difference in your life if you'll let him. That's what we read about here in Mark chapter 5. The difference that Jesus can make in a person's life. Many of you here today understand what I'm saying when I say that Jesus can make a difference in your life. You've experienced it. It may have been years and years ago, but you have experienced the difference that Jesus can make in a life. There's many of you here today that don't know. Oh, you may be church members. You may have come to church your whole life, but you don't understand the difference that Jesus can make in your life. So today I want to share with you that difference that Jesus can make in your life. Follow along as I read here in Mark chapter 5. It says, they came to the other side of the sea, into the country of the Gerasenes. When he got out of the boat, immediately a man from the tombs with an unclean spirit met him, and he had a dwelling among the tombs. And no one was able to bind him any more, even with a chain, because he had often been bound with shackles and chains, and the chains had been torn apart by him, and the shackles broken in pieces, and no one was strong enough to subdue him. Constantly, night and day, he was screaming among the tombs and in the mountains and gashing himself with stones. Seeing Jesus from a distance, he ran up and bowed down before him, and shouting with a loud voice, he said, "What business do we have with each other, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I implore you by God, do not torment me." For he had been saying to him, "Come out of the man, you unclean spirit." And he was asking him, "What is your name?" And he said, "My name is Legion, for we are many." And he began to implore him earnestly not to send them out of the country. Now there were a large herd of swine feeding nearby on a mountain. The demons implored him, saying, "Send us into the swine so that we may enter them." And Jesus gave them permission. And coming out, the unclean spirits entered the swine, and the herd rushed down the steep bank into the sea, about 2,000 of them, and they were drowned in the sea. Their herdsmen ran away and reported in the city and in the country. And the people came to see what was that has happened. They came to Jesus and observed the man who had been demon-possessed, sitting down, clothed and in his right mind. The very man who had had the legion, and they became frightened. Those who had seen it described to them how it had happened to the demon-possessed man and all about the swine and they began to implore him to leave their region. As he was getting into the boat, the man who had been demon-possessed was imploring him that he might accompany him. And he did not let him, but he said to him, "Go home to your people and report to them what great things the Lord has done for you, and how he had mercy on you." And he went away and began to proclaim in the Decapolis what great things Jesus had done for him, and everyone was amazed. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for the reading of your holy word, and we just pray that today as we come to study your word, that you will speak to us, dear Father, that you will show us what a great difference your Son, Jesus, makes in our life, Father, by showing us the difference that he made in the life of this man. So right now, Father, I just pray that they not hear Chris, but that they hear Christ, and that you just speak through me, Father, and speak to the hearts of the people gathered here at West End Baptist Church. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. So how would Jesus change your life? You know, we see that Jesus changed his life. We hear about that. You hear folks talk about it all the time. How will he change your life? Well, the first thing is that he will meet you where you are in life. He will meet you where you are in life. This man was living among the dead. He was living in a tombstone, out where the caves were, where they buried folks and where they put the dead bodies and all. He was living out there. They could not keep him shackled. They could not keep him bound. He was a crazy man, a wild man, if you want to use that terminology. They would hear him hollering out in the wilderness as he cut himself and as he screamed and at all hours of the night and all hours of the day. He was constantly screaming out in the tombs, among the tombs. He was attacking those that ventured through. According to Matthew's version of the story, him and his compadre who was with him were always attacking folks as they come out. According to Luke's story, Luke's version of the story, the man was naked. So can you imagine this naked, wild man running around in graveyards, cutting himself, disfiguring himself, screaming out? I believe that this man, as you study this story, and as you look at this story, and if you've ever been around someone that is schizophrenic, you can see that in this man's life. And Jesus heard about this. Jesus knew that this man was in trouble. He was teaching him parables on the other side of the sea. He was teaching to all the folks in Galilee, and all of a sudden he says, we need to go to the other side. We've got to get in a boat and we've got to go to the other side of the sea. This demon-possessed man was in trouble and was in need on the other side of the sea, and Jesus was on this side of the sea, and he knew that he had to get to him. And I want to tell you here today, I don't know what demons are possessing you. I don't know what demons have a hold of you in your life. I don't know if it's alcohol. I don't know if it's drugs. I don't know if it's pornography. I don't know if it's some kind of sexual addiction. I don't know what kind of demons have control in your life. But I want you to know something. Jesus knows it. And he'll come to it if you'll let him. You say, preacher, you don't understand. I'm so far gone. I'm so far away that where I'm at, Jesus can't get to me. This man was living in a graveyard. He was running around with no clothes. He was cutting himself. He was disfiguring himself. David said it best in Psalms 139, 7 and 8, where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I ascend to heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in Sheol, place of the dead, if I make my bed in Sheol, behold, you are there. This man understood that verse now. He understood it because while he was making his bed among the dead, God showed up. God came to him. He says, I can't get away from him no matter where I go. There he is. And he comes into my life, and he makes a difference in my life because he knows where I'm at in life. And he comes to me. Not only will he come to you, he'll do something when he gets there. See, Jesus will remove the demons in your life. All of those demons that you're facing, all of those demons that you're fighting, this man met Jesus. If you read the story, I love Mark. Mark always puts that immediately when he tells something. He immediately did this. He immediately did this. It's an urgency with it. And when Jesus got out of the boat, he says that this man immediately met Jesus when he got off the boat. And then he goes into a little telling about this man that we just did. And then he goes back to telling about what happened when Jesus got off the boat. This man, and here's where the schizophrenic, I think, comes in. And like I said, if you've ever been around somebody schizophrenic and you read this passage, you can see the two sides speaking. This man's running to Jesus for help. The demons are running to Jesus wanting to know, what are you doing here? Why can't you mind your own business? They're running to accuse Jesus. The New Living Translation translates verse 7, why are you interfering with me? Why are you interfering with me? I'm doing okay. The demons are talking. I'm doing okay here by myself. I've got this man, and we're doing okay. You just get back to the other side of the sea and leave us alone. Let us do our thing. And Jesus comes, and he comes not to help the demons. He comes not to give the demons a place to go, but he comes to help the man. He comes to help the man, and he comes up and he asks the man, and what's your name? And the man starts talking. He said, my name is, and then the demons jump in and says, we are legion, for we're many. You see, in Middle Eastern culture, in first century AD culture, in the time period, if you knew the name, then you could control it. That's why the demons ran up calling him the Son of God, the Most High. They thought they could control Jesus, but you can't control Jesus. But Jesus, now knowing their name, could control them, and he was ready to get rid of them, and they understood this, and they didn't want to go back to hell. They didn't want to. It's something when even the very demons don't want to go there. They said, listen, we don't want to go back. There's some pigs over there. Just let us go into the pigs. And Jesus says, okay, I'll do that. Now, I read in one commentary where it said that the reason that Jesus allowed that to happen was that he didn't want to hurt the man when the demons come out of him. Now, if you've ever dealt with anyone that's battling with a demon in their life, whether it's alcohol, drugs, pornography, whatever it may be, any kind of addiction that they're dealing with, you know getting rid of that addiction is painful and hurts. So I don't buy that theory. I imagine that man experienced some pain as the demons left him. But I imagine that when he saw those pigs go off that cliff and down and killed all of those pigs, he saw just how destructive those demons could be and where his life was headed for destruction. I want you to know something here today. There's not a demon that you're facing. There's not a problem that you're facing today. There's not a demon in hell that you will face in the future that Jesus can't take care of. Everything is under his feet. Paul tells us that. So whatever you're going through in life, ever how painful it is, whatever obstacles you're facing in life, know this. Jesus knows that you're going through it, and He will be there for you. And He will remove those demons in your life. But point number 3, after He gets rid of those demons, He's going to give you a whole new purpose in life. This man acted different. This man was totally different after these demons come out of him. It said that the people come out, the ones that were tending the pigs ran into town and told them what happened to their pigs and what all happened out at the graveyard and all. And they come out to check, see what was going on. And they get out there and they find this man that was once demon-possessed, clothed in his right mind, sitting there. He said they were scared. They knew that something had taken place. This man had a whole new purpose in life. No longer would he live among the dead in the tombs. He now had his right mind. He could go and do what God had for him, the purpose that God had for him in life. He had a new desire, no longer wanting to scare the folks and attack folks as they walked down the road past the graveyard. No longer begging Jesus to leave. He's wanting to get in the boat and go with him. Willing to be used for Jesus wherever He went. And I want to tell you, once He changes your life and He gives you a new purpose for your life, you'll be changing what you want to do in life. Now, I don't know what demons, I've said a couple of times, that you have fought throughout your life. And that isn't the question here today. The question right now is, does your life resemble a life that has been delivered from those demons? Or are they still winning? I remember something I heard from a preacher a long time ago, and it's always stuck in the back of my head. He said, Christ can command demons, but He can only plead with human hearts. And I want to know right now, is He pleading with your heart? Is He pleading with your heart right now? Will you ask Jesus to come in and to make a difference in your life? Are you tired of living the life that you've always lived, always the same thing, always living out by the graveyard, always running around, always mutilating yourself, always doing all the things that the demons tell you to do? Are you ready to start fresh? Will you give it all to Christ today?